the cycle of 510 years, a very large cycle, and this has been dated historically from 670 BC. And as you can see, there has been a shifting growth from one region to the other, and there have been wars, and there have been cultural changes, and there have been many like changes linked with climate, weather, but we have clearly seen a shifting performance from one region to the other. 1980 was the time the next shift was to start, and we already know, and we talk about China, we talk about India, and we talk about the like Southeast Asian countries, and we are already seeing that how the crisis affected India less, or how we are still expecting that China might save the world, because Chinese may still consume, and because they may consume, the world engine might continue to move, or to grow. So there has been and this cycle has definitely been studied and worked on much before the China story was identified. So you can see that there is something about cyclicality which is so preordained and so ordered and so structured that it seems like a disbelief that how can this happen. Now this is a 510-year cycle, so this definitely does mean that the Asian side of the world may continue to outperform on a larger scale. Okay, next one. Now this is another very interesting slide which we where we are talking about panics. Now there are so many panics that happen, and what happened in 2007 and 2000 till 2009 was also a kind of panic. And one may say that okay, there was so many fundamental reasons and so many news, and so many structures were being laid out, and to explain why this panic happened, but the order or the cyclicality of panics is also somewhere preordained. The society moves from one panic to another. We have 1837 crisis panic, we have 1857 where we had like a financial crisis, banking failures, and 1929 is also there, you can see. And there is an order, or there is a visible order in terms of the reappearing of panics. This is again taken from the cycles foundation, and you can see that there is an order in panic. This is one where we are talking about the company sales. Company sales are so much linked, or expected to be linked with the with how the business is laid out, and how the vision is, and how the main management team is. But still, despite all of the internal and external those influences and those drivers, the company sales of GE here shows an order. There is a dashed line and there is a dark line. The dashed line is the idealized cycle, and the black line is the real data. So the rate of growth of company sales and the drop in company sales has a predefined order, and which is very near to the idealized order a company sales should behave, or GE company sales should behave. Now these are, so I took you through an example of a company sales, and I took you through an example of a macroeconomic data, and I took you through an example of a geographical region of east to west. Now I'm taking you through real estate. Now real estate has been known to have 18-year cycles. Like real estate activity has been mentioned to have 18-year cycles. There are larger cycles, there are smaller cycles, but again there is also here a growth in real estate, a decay in real estate, or or less growth or more growth. And this also, as you can see, that the black line, the real data, is hugging the dashed line, which is the idealized data, the idealized cycle and the real cycle moving synchronously. Cycles of time combined with the real activity, showing an order in terms of real estate, the real estate activity. Here we have the constructions. Constructions are also speaking about a similar order. There are times when the society is not constructing because it is engaged in war, or there are some larger events at play. But when there is construction activity and when there is data available and when that data is studied, you can see how the dashed line, the idealized cycle, is hugging the real data. So building activity, construction activity, all have exhibited an order in time. This is the General Motor sales, and the here we have the idealized date line, which is the dashed line, and then we have the real data. You can see that when there was a war, the company was not making the classic inventory, and there were more tanks and war equipment being made. But you can see that how the company sales have moved in synchronous fashion with the idealized data line, the dash line. So car sales, it is not about just GM. If we talk about Tata Motors, we talk about any global car sales company, any listed company. If you will plot the fundamental data of sales, the rate of growth, you will see a cyclical order. Then we have aluminum. The main production of metals also have shown an idealized cycle. The larger the history you have, you can see the cyclicality very clearly. See? Here we have for cotton, and we have for wheat. So it's not just about some business industries that show cyclicality. Even for agro and metals and oil, you can see a similar idealized cycle, which is superimposed or synchronous with the real data. So cotton production and wheat acreage, this might be assumed to be under the whims and fancies of nature, but again we have enough proof that even nature is cyclical. Here we have the business failures. You can see there are larger cycles and there are smaller cycles. Smaller cycles are part of larger cycles, and business failures also move accordingly. Cyclical fashion. Interest rates. Interest rates are also believed to be manageable, but if you look at larger interest rate cycles, world interest rates move up in a similar fashion and they move down in a similar fashion. The interest rate structures are also idealized. There is banking started in 1400 AD, and interest rates have only 500-600 years so of backdated data where we can study interest rate, but there are already established cyclicality, and from a long period of time we see that cycle still in play. There could be railroad stock prices and even market prices, stock indices, all exhibit a kind of cyclicality, a kind of order, which seems like disbelief, but the order continues to be there. This is the Benner cycle. He started like his metals business, and when he was in the business, he the markets tanked and the prices fell down, and because of which he faced a failure twice. And he said that why does the metals business just fail like that, or why does a certain fall come like that? So he went back and he studied the history of commodity prices and metal prices and agricultural prices, and he came up with this cycle called um, the Benner cycle. And as you can see that the Benner cycle is such ordered cycle that we have that he laid down clear 8 and 9 and 10, all these time he laid out. He could put an order into the time cycle structure. So he could say that there is such a clear order in time that he could see the economic cyclicality and the commodity prices cyclicality through this clock. It's like a clock. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, followed again by 8, 9 and 10 years, and so on. The process of the cyclicality continues. And then we have here, we have 9 7, so on the lower side we have 9 7 11, and again we have 9 7 11, and so on. So there was a clear order he laid down, and Benner cycle still is working today. So how could someone hundreds of years back write about time and write about an order that continues to work today? And why are we not able to accept this order? Why are we so uh, why is cycles research still considered mystic? Why don't we accept time as mathematical? So these are broader philosophy ideas which could be explained by the fact that there has been a generational prosperity behind us till 2007, and when markets continuously went up and incomes rose, and industries became bigger, and when the such things happen, people become complacent, and the credit is more self-assumed than credit giving credit to previous researchers or previous societies or previous thinkers, because we become so self-obsessed that this self-obsession may be one reason why cycles were not accepted, or why they could not be believed. And plus, there was an illusion that markets may continue to rise and prosperity may continue to rise, and there is nothing which cannot be managed. Every crisis can be managed till the time we faced a crisis that became too large to handle. The larger time overwhelmed the people and the culture and the society to prove that there is nothing bigger than time. So these are the things which, of course, there is a certain time we believe that we believe in things, and there is certain time we don't believe in things. Here is the cycle of international battles, where we have seen, or where we have plotted the data of international battles and even war. Society goes to war, or society goes to peace in a very cyclical order. There is an order underlying societies move from peace to war. The cyclicality is preordained, and that cyclical order will continue. This is the next one, where we are talking about the expectation of the market. The expectation of the market in terms of dividend is least when the markets are at the top. When the markets are growing, continuously growing, our dividend expectations as a society is traded off with capital growth. And when the markets are down in the Great Depression, the dividend expectations were the highest. And as you can see, that the dividend expectations, or the dividend provided by the components of an index